Yeah, we should be back shortly here.
Nothing worse than an interrupted 69.
I know.
I know. Hey, hold on.
Oh lordy.
All right. So the stream is backed up, and so I think it is. Hold on. Are we back up for everybody?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, because that would make sense for another joke, though. What do you call 6.9? A good time with an interruption.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Maddie sends a GIF to our chat of like Michael Scott staring when I realized my connection dropped. My power supply went off. So my computer stayed up, and everything just started beeping in the house. And like it all came back up, and I went back out there to get my drink because I knew I had to wait for the internet to reboot. And I was just pissed. And my wife was like, "We were wondering when you were going to start hitting things because we know how important today was to you." Just the seething anger as I'm out there going to get my drink, looking like Leslie Nope, just like.
We were sitting here and we had asked something, and we're like, Ben.
we thought we messed up. We were like, oh no. Josh was shaking in his boots.
My paranoia went crazy.
It was such a bad question that Ben completely crashed. Oh my gosh.
Fuck, what was the question?
I don't know.
She knew what silk was.
Oh,
But-
right. Oh,
Yeah.
and then I mentioned that we have silk clothing from Rosita, I think, don't we?
Mm.
You have some in your bags, yeah. But she does not silk. I don't understand.
Pull it out and show
A material.
cloth.
It's just a material, but
Oh.
have you ever ran into anyone here that wore this on their hands as gloves? Specifically black gloves?
No.
No. Not the color, specifically the texture. Feel it.
He reaches out with these large, giant fingers and kind of touch. Well, it's foreign to me.
I suppose that's good. If you do happen to find someone who matches that description, black gloves of this texture, they are not to be trusted.
Oh, that's good to know. We've had some run-ins with what we think are the embodiment of living death. These creatures that come up from the ice.
The zombies.
An interesting term for them, zombies. Zombies.
It's just a word that basically means undead, a corpse that has reanimated.
That's a strange term. Do you use that for yourself?
Well, how did you know?
She like moves
Wait,
the staff
wait.
slightly, and those of you that are in tune with magic can just see the weave of magic that kind of like that runs through everything. That like little bit of ley line trickle, as you know, when you draw magic from Cyorion, you pull out to the energies of the ley lines and you twist it to how you want it to work. Maximil, it's always just been something that runs through you. You feel it and you just kind of pull the magic out and do it, and you see it just kind of like hanging off the ends of her staff. A safe check, if you will, just to make sure.
Interesting. I'm not quite a zombie. Zombies are usually decrepit and
That's what
rotting and
we figured,
rank.
but the ones that we found looked dead, and attacked one of our people, and
My body's sort of frozen in time. We're sort of just something else. It's actually a very hot topic of debate in the center world, for sure.
Ever since we've seen one reanimated, we've never quite trusted it.
That's fair. This is an odd question, but most of the corpses that we've encountered thus far have been like us. They have been, center folk, as you would call them. Have you lost any of your own to these things? Any giants?
Yes.
Shit.
Some have.
Sorry.
That's the cause for concern. Is the last folk we ran into of your stature seemed to be dead, and they attacked our scouting party. And
Like me? Or like the zombies.
like the zombies, and he came back to life. We brought him back to our camp and tried to resuscitate him, and when he came back to us, something was wrong.
Different.
His eyes were wrong, and he tried to claw and bite at our throats.
Huh.
We had to burn him.
There's something interfering and causing these reanimations. We just don't really know who.
We were about to send tomorrow an envoy to the city of Eppin to get answers.
Is it a
we have-
capital city of some sort, or?
It's a port city. We do some trade with them. We visit them infrequently, but it's been some time since we visited them. We thought we would check on their safety.
It's a port city.
Yes.
So back the way we came. All right.
No, through the mountain.
What?
Hmm. I say too much. Tivon, my father, is discussing with the elders whether or not you should be allowed to go.
And
are the
what
determining
quite...
factors for that?
Yeah, I'm curious.
May we plead our case?
I'm sure that you'll be giving a moment to speak. You are honored guests. You did help to bring down a Grachnork. You have a place of honor amongst us tonight. We intended to learn everything we could about you and send you on your way, but when Vitect informed us that you were interested in finding where these things came from, it seemed worth a discussion. But I speak out of my place. Tivon will speak to you all and address the community tonight. We have a feast, and we hope you would join us. It is a great honor bringing back a Grachnork, and we must feast on part of it tonight to ensure that the rites are completed and that we pay true homage to this beast, this great hunter.
I sure hope I can enjoy it. I look forward to it.
We'll be ready in quite a few hours. It's a tough beast and requires a long time of stewing to break it down. Otherwise, you can't really chew it. It's quite hard. But until then, please enjoy the feast. Tivon will likely be through to speak to you soon and join in the celebrations.
Would it be best that we stayed here at our designated area?
You are allowed to stay here or return to Olderima. Those are your choices.
Right. Good pick. Here it is. If I can be so bold, you are being trained up as this village's next spiritual leader, are you not?
That's correct. And
Do your people take great stock in prophecies?
We do.
I'm going to pull out my spell book. I'm going to flip to the page with Brundoinum's prophecy on it, word for word that I wrote down, and I'm going to slide it to her. Does this mean anything to you?
She starts to read through it. Gotta pull old notes.
I got it. Here. In chat.
I've got it up.
Okay. A fool I was to think I could get it to him before he had it.
Don't you worry. I just had to type the prophecy search tag into my notes program, and it's all there. She looks through. She looks through it. Since it's been quite a long time, the prophecy talks about one who is alone, the one who's looking for a home, the one who knows great sadness, the one who bears great tragedy, the one who fights time, and the one who seeks peace.
And like specifically the first bit is kind of what I'm trying to gauge for her, because the rest of it seems to be referring to people. I don't expect her to know, everyone in the universe. But the first bit, the weave is corrupted, influences outside our control, yada yada.
Isadora just kind of leans to Soren a little bit and is like, you never shared this prophecy with me? This is my first time hearing it. I have a lot
Sort
of
of doesn't-
questions.
It doesn't come up a whole lot, but we'll fill you in later.
Where did
Okay,
you send
okay.
it?
In game.
Oh, in game
There it
chat.
is. Thank you. She sits down and she kind of reads through it and starts to work on it and begins to cast a couple ritual spells. And you see her working comprehend languages.
Okay.
Is the first one. Oops. I'm on Foundry. Quit dying on me. There we go. So she starts to work with that for a while. And then she considers something for a moment. If you'll excuse me, I'll be just a moment. I need to catch something.
She needs to etch something?
Catch or fetch something.
Etch something. Okay.
She leans out, looks down, and you hear her in a couple grunts in her language. She basically says, "Calvor, come." And you hear the Markodon go poof and jump up out of the snow. And you can see it through the flaps. The big tattooed Markodon follows her. And she heads off into the village for a few moments. And then she returns a bit later. It takes her about 5 minutes. She returns back with this tusks, and what it looks like, almost like narwhal tusks, these twisted bones of ivory, large pieces of it, and a huge pile of incense. You cannot leave here, but you doesn't say that. Mother said you couldn't watch something. And she
Happy to
goes
observe.
over to the corner of the tent, like near where you guys are at, and props it open, and you can see Calvor's face on the other side. And she invites you over, and Calvor kind of lays down and puts a horn under one side of the tent, holding it up. And then looking past, you can see Calvor's blocking the view back to the village and has another tent lifted up on the other side, so you can look through and see. She leaves the tent, goes around Calvor to this other tent. You hear her briefly greet someone with a grunt and a couple signs, and another young shamanistic looking individual, like dressed accordingly, that refers to her and like nods to her with a great amount of respect, just kind of steps out and like closes the flap of this tent behind her very closely, and it looks like someone's personal domicile. It's very small, and it's just kind of butted up against the tent. She clears a little bit of space in the middle, begins to burn the incense, and you're the only one that I'm probably going to allow to do this. You can make an Arcana check for it.
I don't remember what my Arcana bonus is. 14 plus stuff.
Plus 8.
I'm good at Arcana. 22.
She's casting a spell you've seen cast a few times.
Okay.
And by a few, I mean maybe 3 times in your life. She's casting some variant of legend lore. And she's
On the book?
used comprehend languages and the smoke from this incense to cast your words up into the smoke.
Cool.
And she's casting legend lore on the object. You see her eyes kind of turn a translucent blue as she's reading into this. The weave truly is corrupted. The weave of time. The weave of destinies and fates are shattered. Bryndoinham gave this to you, and she is lost.
He's lost.
Yes, and 6 peoples will bring her back.
You see Isadora just kind of like. Just kind of counting the party.
Mhm. Yeah.
The great corruptor of the Herald of Rot is not the same as what you seek. She casts a bunch of herbs into this fire of incense that she's burning, and the ivory is melting inside of it as she's channeling just immense amounts of magic into this. The entirety.
It's not burning my book, right?
No. Your book is now off to the
Okay.
side. She has brought this. Whatever was told to you, she's reaching out beyond the ley lines of magic, trying to find the semblance of truth to this.
Okay.
There's a place far beyond. Many 100 vicious green eyes from the same face stare back from the shadow. Rindoinum is lost there. You will have to fix the weave, you will have to slay her. But in doing so, she leans back from the spell and the smoke just woof. I'm sorry. You have not been given a prophecy, but a curse.
I kind of knew that. Suspected it at least.
You
Wow, that's a lot. Thank you.
But
That was incredible.
in doing so, what?
you will be responsible for bringing the Herald of Rot to this place.
To Holderema, to Cyorion, to this realm.
To our world.
Is she?
And she's the one we're looking for?
She's not here already then.
Whatever it is that you seek currently is the key. But when you step through the door to face her,
We open it for her.
the weave
Are
is
there-
the weave is indeed shattered, but the weave in its true state is shattered. Destiny is not dictated by the gods. We live in a place where we're allowed to live free and decide our own fates. Yours have been twisted and corrupted. Yours have been changed to have to face this. But
Joy.
if you should succeed, you will correct the weave for everyone. There are places
I hate
beyond
being told what
here.
to do.
Indeed, as do I, but you have made the decisions thus far of your own free will. It seems that you were given a guidepost on a path somebody else cursed you with. If you see it through, maybe you bargain for the freedom of us all, but until then, this is all, as it says, corrupted. The cycle is broken, trying to destroy us all. Something seeks to destroy our anchors to this place.
Look over at Max. Anchors.
I caught that too.
This has been incredibly helpful. Thank you so much. Is there... I mean, I'm sure there's not, but is there anything we can do as recompense?
No, please, your honored guest, it is my privilege to help out those that are friends of Haverford's. He was a good man, and I knew that he came to me for a reason.
I like it here.
A very
Uh,
simple
so-
place.
If I know that clarification isn't really like a huge thing with prophecies, but I was wondering, so there's the Great Corruptor, the Herald of Rot, that's one person. That's one chick. But then there's Vicious Green Eyes Lady. Is that a different one?
I don't know much. I simply repeated really what the spell told to me. I don't know of any creature with hundreds of vicious green eyes peering out from the dark.
Did I? Okay, this might be super reaching. That thing at the bottom of that place called Kasoba.
Huh?
Didn't that thing have a bunch of green eyes before it ripped my familiar to pieces?
Ooh.
That did not
Okay.
have a bunch of green
But
eyes.
didn't Brundoinum have a bunch of green eyes?
Inspiration from Maximil. Brendoinum had in her true form, hundreds of eyes walking across
Because
the weave
it
like
was
a
like-
spider.
She was the only one that saw that, though. I remember that.
Max was the only one that saw it. Max, you can have inspiration. Her eyes at that
Yay!
time shined as if you were looking at hundreds of pages of sheet music from a distance. Tans and blacks and grays dancing across with the eyes that have seen the writings of eons of civilization. But she described, and you have also once seen when you peered into a pool, someone who cursed you standing next to a creature with thousands of green eyes, dripping vile, venomous.
Yeah. Yep.
And she said you would have to defeat Brodornam, and she said it by name.
So we gotta fight Brundoinum?
I hope. Brodornam sounds powerful, to say the least.
So you will have to slay her, meaning we would intuit that means we have to slay Brundoinum to fix the weave.
Yeah.
Look over at Botrin. How's Botrin doing?
Yeah.
Botrin's listening and drinking everything in and thinking about the 30 years of time that he spent in Brundoinum's library, trying to recall bits and pieces.
You know better than anyone. Does this make sense to you? Any of it?
Brodornam was benevolent. Brodornam absorbed all. Brodornam was a guardian of time and guarded that time through the consumption of histories and chronicling of fate and stories. And the one time you saw the weave chamber, you saw this great amalgam of spider webs loomed together like a canvas.
So Brundoinum is lost, and 6 people will bring her back, but to fix the weave, we have to slay her. So does that mean by lost, and Max is telling this to everyone, does that mean she's lost as in, like, corrupted, and in order to stop her corruption, we've got to kill her? Or does that mean that she's, like, actually elsewhere, like elsewhere with a capital E? We have to bring her back and then kill her. Like, I don't like the sound of any of this.
To me, it sounds like she is lost, meaning that the Brundoinum we knew is gone. And now nothing exists but this corrupted version that we must now eliminate.
Max, I'm going to give
She
you
was
something with that question. I want you to make an emphasis roll. And if it's positive,
You got it, boss. Come on. Oh, 5 and 12. Can I use the inspiration I got on this?
yeah, if you want to burn that inspiration, you can.
I'll do it. Well, nope.
Reroll curse, god damn it!
Reroll curse.
What about...
Can you burn a sorcery point?
No, I have another inspiration that you said wouldn't vanish at the end of last session
You
from
did
trying
earn
to
one at
speak
the end
in
of last
sign
session.
language.
If you want to Baldur's Gate 3 the crap out of this and burn all your inspiration on one
Baldur's
roll.
Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Do it.
I
Guidance. We need guidance.
Yeah, you're dangling lore in front of the lore junkie and going, "Are you sure you want it?"
if you don't roll high, I am going to eat you.
Oh no.
Oh no.
The
That one.
defeated Sarah. Just
I'm
get a glass
sad
of
now.
water.
Well-
Get a glass of water. You gotta gulp down that D20.
You gotta gulp that down.
Don't do it, Sarah. No. Don't, Sarah. Bad dice goblin. Bad dice goblin. No.
Bad.
Wrong dice jail.
Spit it out.
Wrong dice jail.
That's dice purgatory, is what that is. You never.
Oh no.
I'm so angry.
Hey, you're considering all of these things, and Jaeger, you notice Isadora is just like zombie mode, staring at the ground, like, what the fuck?
Hey, kid, you all right?
What?
Poking Max.
Perhaps now rather than later, we should fill Isadora in on all of this. I didn't think we'd fucking help. God, where to begin? So we stumbled into somewhere that is elsewhere with a capital E a while ago, early on in our travels, where we met Botran. It was some sort of dimensional nexus hub of a city or settlement or something like that. It's all hard to explain, but there we met Botran and what I can only describe as a god dragon of time and space and destiny and knowledge and a million other things. She gave us this look over at the frost giant curse, prophecy, I don't know. Since then has visited us in dreams several times. Sometimes it's actually her, sometimes it's not. It's a lot to digest, I know. But it's sort of the why behind why we are doing what we are doing. Apart from the sort of altruistic, we need the world to be in one piece in order to live in it, so we're going to save it, or at least try. But, you know, that's a given.
And if we fix the problem, if we fix it, the cycle of life goes back to the way it was before.
Oh.
Does that make sense? Because I don't think that was explicitly.
That was never explicitly said.
But it's broken right now.
Outside of the wheel.
Maybe.
I
don't know.
It doesn't work like it should, obviously, at the current moment.
Yes.
I mean, I'm here.
I mean, it seems as though there's some sort of deterministic, I don't know, convergence point that this is pulling us towards. What happens after that is presumably unknowable.
Yeah.
We're talking about cosmic forces far beyond our comprehension. I don't know what happens. My understanding of magic is limited, but I don't think it'll just fall over dead all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. Seems inevitable. You know, we gotta do the thing.
I mean,
You
our
hear Calvor.
alternative choice is death by zombies.
Calvor grunts and immediately shakes his head loose, and you see Larsan quickly standing up and walking out of her tent.
Scurry after her. What's the sign, right?
Well, you guys are in the longhouse. She lifted up a corner of the longhouse tent so you could see through to what she was doing.
Oh, got it. Okay, we're not in the tent with her.
And she shook it loose, and
Close the flap.
the flap closes, and you see her, or you hear something in the distance of this kind of low rumbling conversation. Soren with comprehend language is up. It's a male figure that just says,
Son, join me.
What do you say?
Larsan, join me.
Ah, cool.
And you watch as Vutekt steps in to the tent, holds his tooth aloft again, and the entire longhowl that is now, as you look back, has been steadily filling with people. This hall erupts in cheers. His son Gufrid is drunk with his friends and family now, celebrating. 2 more chairs are risen up on the front 3, and you see Tivon, who Larsen had said was her father, the shaman holding his staff, steps up and stands behind the center chair, leans his staff behind him, and you see a woman, a matriarch, kind of coming alongside of him, who's seems a little bit sickly. He's kind of walking with a bit of a pace, but he helps guide her to a chair and very gently pulls it out for her to his left, kind of scoots her in. She also bears a striking similarity to Larsan. But she just seems like a bit afflicted, not necessarily old age, but seems ill with something. Larsan waits for her to sit, and then she sits. Tivon strikes his staff, and the whole stage reverberates. He says, in their speech, very slowly, Tivon's sitting like across, kind of like she casts sending to Maximiel, and just basically starts like whispering in your ear, because she doesn't know one of you has comprehend language stuff, and the 2 of you kind of translate for her as he speaks to the crowd and says,
Tonight, we celebrate the victory of Gufred and Vutekt.
and the entire tent erupts in cheers.
We also celebrate the victory of this group of outsiders who helped to slay this great creature.
And you suddenly feel, as soon as they finish that statement, a whole lot of eyes on you and cheering as he motions towards the group of you.
Okay, they're
Spackle.
cheering.
Yeah, they are cheering.
Okay.
Spackle immediately gets up and is waving at everybody, because Gufrid and Vutekt did the exact same thing. They waved. They have the bloodied hands that are now bandaged and have a drink. And he says,
Feast and be merry. A great bounty has been brought to us.
and Vutekt and Gufrid stand side by side. He waits for the 2 of them. 2 of them look out to the crowd, look to each other, tears in their eyes as they well up, and they hold up the glasses and cheer, and the entire long hall follows in suit and cheers behind them. And from there, we're gonna take a quick break, everybody. I know we had a power outage, but we're gonna give our amazing cast a little break here, and we'll come up for the last hour and 20 minutes of this. So please give us 5 minutes or so here to fill our drinks up and take a quick breather. We'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. We're just waiting for some folks to get back here. And now that we're all back, and this is a Brennan Lee Mulligan supported stream, and the fact that we munch on camera, get used to it.
Yeah.
This is what has to happen when you play D&D. Snacks are required. By the way, got a whole bag. My mother-in-law picked up a bag of sunflower seeds that were pre-shelled, salted, and roasted for my little kids who can't break sunflower seeds yet. And I found myself in the kitchen earlier today, just like scooping sunflower seeds.
Scooping
The only
so much. Oh,
acceptable-
it's like
Yeah.
it's
the only acceptable
addictive.
way to eat them.
I used to eat them so much on road trips. I would put a giant handful in my mouth because I have an oral fixation, and to not smoke cigarettes anymore, I started chewing a lot of sunflower seeds. I will put a pile into one side, crack them and spit the shells, and store the inside of the seed on the other side of my mouth. And then as soon as all the cracked ones are gone and I've just got the insides left, I bring them all back for a glorious
Hold on, chipmunk in it.
That is
It's great.
skill that I didn't know people could possess.
I am so good with sunflower seeds. We will not talk about how that helped me land my wife. So, continuing on. Sarah's broken.
You can't casually drop that comment, man.
I can casually drop that comment. Have you met me? I'm a big sexy man beast who's there's enough to love go around. Oh, Tivon comes in with his wife. You guys all have this deliciously acidic alcoholic beverage with you. There's lots of toasts going around, and you find that there is one of these frost giant maidens, this younger girl who just like kind of keeps coming by, and she's managed to craft like a small enough scoop that she just comes by every time and like picks it up off the table next to you guys and like scoops and refills without you questioning it. It seems, without an insight check, like not even needing one, just like kind of vibing the room, this is a bit of a service that she's honored to do. You don't get the sense that there's any graders or lessers besides the following the guidance of this spiritual leader, the shaman of the people. And there's a bit of reverence for the family that helps run the mystical traditions of the society, but they take the opportunity, and you note now that there is space at the sides of this table for additional seats, this main head table, because from what you can tell, they frequently have moments like this where there's reverence and providing accolades and celebration of people within their society. And this girl that comes by and serves you, as you kind of feel the need to like acknowledge her in some way or anything, she is very happily a young girl, big smile on her face, getting to participate and helping to serve. And you see other people serving in different ways just inside this tent alone to help you to realize that this is a very equitable society. They have little to live with out here. They make the very best of what they have. They take full use of everything that's available to them, and they give back in great ways. But the conversation starts to din to those just at the tables after this initial celebratory toast, and you see a skinned, partially parboiled great rack of this creature's leg come in on a massive spit. The floorboards are removed around the fire that was previously like that coagulated fat that was used to like make a fire that was long burning off of the fat that kind of gave the oily tinge to the air. They remove that fire, they extinguish it, pull the floorboards out, and bring in buckets of hot coals, and they have a couple shaman that are enchanting the ice and casting spells to make sure that it stays solidified. But basically they make a hot coal trough, bring in a huge leg that takes up 3/4 of the distance of one of these tables, this creature that you fought. And they've already been, for a couple hours there, as you guys were like talking and getting settled in, somebody immediately removed it, skinned it, put a salt cure on it, threw it into like a big saltwater boil, and was starting to parboil it. You see the meat partially cooked already, and they bring it out here, and now it starts to just slow roast over this massive bed of coals, and people are just drinking and enjoying. Plates of root vegetables start to make their way around to you guys. And I need a DC 24 insight check from everybody, except
I
for
can handle
Isadora.
that. On the dot.
Get the fuck out.
14 plus 10.
I'm at a 3.
I got a dirty 20.
It takes about 30 minutes.
21.
21, 20, 14. It takes about 20 minutes or so for the spices to start to permeate the air. But with a DC 24 goddamn insight, you pick up on a couple flavors that during your time spent with Turok and talking about exotic and far off places, there's a possibility that some of the flavors he's enjoyed have made their way here from orcs or from his parents or something. There's a bit of that flavor profile you don't expect that reminds you of some of that food.
I don't know if I would mention that, but that is weird.
That's why I gave it to you, because those of you that have experience with him and have had the food that he likes, it catches you off guard that this is here at the ass end of the world.
For a second, I thought she couldn't roll because she had you're saying she had a poor sense of smell, but it's because she wasn't there. It's because she wasn't there for that, companion.
Like coriander in
okay.
India and coriander in Latin America.
Yeah, just very different from the flavor profiles of Northern Lomindor. Kind of that orcish taste, a little bit, but you're not sure. Just based on the flavors that he and his family liked and the things that he said that he liked. Could be orcish, could be Farrellin. Mom seemed to do most of the cooking, so probably orcish in nature, but just very strange to find it here.
Weird. And we don't know about any. Well, I mean, no Tusk.
Tusk did
But he didn't
know these people.
Didn't make it out here, though. Right?
No, he
wasn't
did not.
ingratiated into their society. Maybe. Oh, weird. Okay.
What are the rest of you up to then while this starts to cook then? Some conversations are happening. You see Gufred and Vutekt are getting toasted and cheered with a few things. People are enjoying their time, and Tivon and Larsan, and then whoever this other lady was, just kind of seem to be enjoying the atmosphere. And Sarah, when you have time, DMs. What's everybody else up to during this time?
I think Jaeger's just getting antsy. Sitting still too long, waiting on food. I don't know if it's polite or not to smoke in here.
Oh,
I'm just whittling my hands.
Botrin's slipping into sort of like a meditative state, but not going into the dream. He's actually trying to delve into his memories, the history of his time with Brundoinum.
Okay. Jaeger, you have a bit of concerns. You take a quick look around, and you see there's probably 2 or 3 dozen people now smoking a pipe. A couple of them have a longer pipe that's carved out of some curved bone that they seem to be passing around.
I'm sure it'd be fine if you lit yourself a cigarette, but this could take us back to that conversation I had with you about investing in some of those patches for these types of occasions.
Yeah, maybe in another life. A little bit older. So don't want to intrude.
Smell of the meat cooking is driving me crazy. If I don't eat soon, I'm going to... I don't know, but I'm going crazy.
Almost as if on cue, a fish course starts to walk in from the back halls there, back at the rest of the village where other things are being cooked. Baskets of roasted root vegetables, a lot of mushrooms, whatever that mountain is back there. There's
Ooh,
probably
I like mushrooms.
some warm cave environment where mushrooms are growing. Tubers, mushrooms, fish courses start to make their way in, and you're all treated to a salty, slightly briny fish feast. There's also some sort of dried, acidic smelling fish flesh that's available, that as soon as it like gets brought out to the tables, people start talking and pointing to your group, and then a portion is carved off very soon by Tivon himself, this shamanistic centerpiece of the village. He carves it off and he brings it over towards your table, a small piece that's no more me-sized, like human-sized, no more than like a strip steak. Probably about 6 to 8 ounces at most. And he brings it over and kneels down and looks to the group of you and signs a few things, and immediately Larson is translating. We're very pleased to have you. This is a gift from Eppin. We trade with them occasionally, and our supplies are running low. We're excited to get this back, a fish native to their area. It's dangerous to eat in large quantities and requires a long cure time. We recommend you start with a small piece, but Tivon would like to join you in the ceremonial feasting.
Right?
Yes, please. Thank you.
How small? Like, big or?
We recommend no more than the pad of your palm next to your thumb per portion.
Oh, all right. That's very small. Okay, yeah, sure.
It's very flaky. If you've had fish, citrus cooked things, almost that consistency, where it seems near sushi, but there's slight color changes to let you know that it's been cooked.
Ceviche?
A little bit like ceviche. Yep.
Yeah.
But he takes a piece the size of his palm, holds it up to you, and bows his head as he holds it up and takes his bite. You're immediately overwhelmed, even Isadora, with a sense of ammonia and a sharp burning sensation. I think we described this in one of the books last time, or we talked about it offline, but there's a type of, we may have talked about it offline. This is there's a Greenland shark that exists in Iceland that they cure over a very long season because it's actually dangerous to eat without properly curing. It's poisonous, the flesh is. And this is that similar fish. And it's been cured for a very long time. You get that initial ammonia hit, and it's quite bitter and sharp and pungent, but then immediately salinates. It's a little salty and calm on the back, and you have an initial reaction to gag and to get rid of it, but you see that Tivon swallows it down and very calmly looks to the group of you and sees for similar reactions. It doesn't take much effort, but you all can kind of like drink it down, and he holds for a moment and then lets out a big laugh, and you see a couple of the other giants who are paying attention laugh, and Larson jokes, it's a custom that we decided we would do to Haverford as well. You should drink this as a part of a gulp of the Tifgrun. It helps to soften the flavor. But when eaten straight, it usually elicits a reaction. Haverford vomited for 30 minutes.
Wow.
He was slightly emaciated by the time he got back, though, so it was quite the sight to behold, and it's what endeared him to us after the fight.
No, actually, I kind of enjoyed that a bit much. My palate isn't quite like the others, though.
I understand that, but please enjoy some of the other mushrooms and tubers that we collect from the caves. They're quite good, and the meat will be another hour or so. Please enjoy yourselves and visit with the others, and as Tivon returns to his seat, tends to what appears to be his wife as he kisses her like a husband would a wife. Larson kind of looks to the group of you. If there's anyone you wish to communicate with more effectively and have a conversation with, please, my services are available to you. I will happily translate for this evening.
Yeah, let's go talk to our the friends we made on that hunting trip.
Oh,
Gufrid and
we-
Vutekt, I would not recommend you speak to tonight. As she says that, you look back and there's still like a half dozen people standing below them as they're up on the stage, offering them gifts. And each time they take a gift, they accept a drink with those people. Even Vutekt is like getting into his cups a little bit, but they are at a place of high honor tonight, and the entire village is honoring them.
I will thank them at a different time.
could we
recommend-
talk to your dad?
Tivon, yes, if you just allow him to finish with Mother, and he can come back and speak with you.
That's who I wanted to talk to. I mean, other than you, of course. You're very interesting to speak with.
I thank you, but I'm not quite that interesting of a person. I simply chronicle my people's time here and do the best to guide them in the ways of our teachings.
Oh, I'm not
Sounds
really
like-
that interesting, she says after saying a very interesting thing. Come on, give
You
yourself
give
a
the
bit of credit.
exact job description of an interesting person.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're a fairly humble folk. We don't have many things we claim for glory besides raising up those around us. It's a small society, and we do the best we can. There are some frost giant tribes that are more warring than ours, but we have our territory that's far and wide. Those tribes no longer come to us. We roam and have claimed these lands for ourselves.
Do you know about how many tribes there are that you are aware of?
16 frost giant clans.
Are they sort of equidistant around the edge?
Well, they tend to stay. So 14 of them are fairly well situated where they want to be. There are 3 near the Goliath. 2 that stay near the southern tips. They've traded with folk on very rare occasion from a place called Kyath, which all of you recognize. Southwestern tip of Lamindor, there's a kingdom called Kyath that like goes out over this frozen peninsula. It's not too far from Holderima, but if the frost giants were on the edge of Holderima near the ocean, probably they would trade with them on occasion. There are a few that live on the very violent eastern seas. In terms of the map, this would be off the northeastern tip of Lamindor. A couple in the northeast, past Galea, that trade and frequently work with the storm giants. They have a hidden city up there, from what I understand, that the capital of most giants. Not something that is tracked by your maps. But a couple tribes do wander in war. There's one that stays fairly close to the northwestern shores. I believe there's a continent of dragons that they like to do battle with.
Some people do love to live dangerously.
Well, they've said that the dragons have become pretentious and failed in their duties, and someone should put them in their place. They have sworn off all wars with giant kind and begun to battle only dragons.
Just like slowly creep over a look at Doran.
Doran just taking a deep drink.
Right, we're not going to talk about that.
I was interested if you had known of them, scaly friend. I did not catch your name.
My name is Dorian, and your dealings with these giants who have so described the dragons, they're pretty much 100% correct.
Good. Those dragons that have tried to trade with us or come to us in different guises have been shunned from our society, turned away. There seems to be something stirring in your dragon kingdom.
It is going to be a great civil war, I feel.
Well, should you ever need allies, you can count us amongst them. Frost giants.
Really?
Frost giants do not stand in accordance with the pompous arrogance of dragons.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
Side note, campaign 2 that fights dragons needs to have giants on their side.
That's happening 100%.
I totally just decided that on the spot. This is what I get for deciding things on the spot.
Canon, he said it.
It's going to be so much fun, though, now that I think about it. It's going to be really good.
Giants versus dragons. The
Imagine if we equip them with the flying ships. You just see these frost giants sailing in on a massive...
Oh, out of character, side note, timeout. Did I tell you guys about the flying ships?
No.
I think we talked about that after stream yesterday.
Yeah,
or after
the
stream last
Sunday
week.
game last week has just met the Akuros, and the Akuros are starting to become a kingdom, and like they're getting their flying ships into their service.
Yeah, that was out of character when I said that.
Totally side note. Yeah, just fun Cyorion lore as other campaigns continue to explore things. But after a few moments of conversation, she kind of looks back, and her father sitting back. Tivon could speak with you now. He seems to be done with Yalvist.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Should I know this is strange, and keep in mind you all are, the size of an infant. As the normal human person, the size of an infant is the full-grown humanoid compared to a frost giant. Like, you kind of come up to just past their knees.
Great.
I don't mean to insult you, but shall I place you on the table so you may speak to him face to face?
That would be wonderful. I didn't think about that.
Max is gonna levitate to do that.
Do we want to be
We could just
a little bit larger? I can make that happen. I just need a minute.
Yeah, that would
Dude.
just make this whole interaction so convenient.
Do you need
You could have
to?
done that this whole time?
Do you mean to
Yeah.
impose violence against him? Because you are honored guests. Standing
No,
before
no.
him on his table is not an insult. It is.
I don't think we need to be bigger. I think we're perfectly fine. We are.
Gufried and Vutek to receive admonishment and admiration, but your names are being inscribed in the annals of our people as we speak. Small folk that stand against a Gortek will be spoken about for generations to come. If I
That's a
understand
lot. All right.
correctly, Yegar, Isadora, Soren, Dorian, Batran, and Maxmil will all be remembered by our people.
How do you feel about that, Yeager?
Where's that ID card that we have? You spelled my name wrong, and it's definitely not Jaeger.
Yeager.
No, it.
Oh.
What was our names? We get for
Oh,
Busan.
give me a second.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I remembered that.
I don't want
I
Jaeger.
have them all written down.
Out of character, if you told the two giants something else, I just totally spaced it, and they'll put down whatever you put down.
No, he's talking about the fake names we gave when we arrived in Busat.
Yeah. We were related, weren't we? We were cousins or something like that. We had
Something
the
like
same last name or something.
Did you guys give the giants?
Jaeger,
As an aside,
you're
Raise your hand.
Lantarond.
raise your hand if you did not give the giants your actual name after traveling with them for like 10 days.
Definitely did.
If you did not give them your actual name, raise your hands.
I mean, I think it came up in passing that everyone's calling me Jaeger, so
Yeah, you're compromised.
it's pretty compromised. But I would try and hand them.
You think about it for a minute, and then you realize you are literally at the ass of the end of the world, and these people do not communicate with Centralists. You're probably safe to be written down as Yeagar here in Frost Giant native tongue that nobody else really speaks.
Yeager.
Yeagar.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Jaeger the horrible.
You
Yeagar, the don't touch.
The untouchable.
The untouchable.
You all will be remembered by our people for generations. And it is not common. Only 3 Graknork have been brought down during my father's time. And a great honor for the 3rd. He expected to not see a 3rd in his years. And this is a great honor. You stand exalted amongst our people.
Good to know.
Yeah, that's really good to hear considering my introduction.
But yes, I wouldn't mind a lift so that he does not have to crane his neck to speak to us.
Thankfully, Miss Isadora, everybody is well into their cups and has already forgotten your transgression and did not hold it against you. You did not know the ways of our people and that we revere such beasts. So
Really
you are
like
forgiven.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
She holds up a couple hands and basically gives you guys all space to sit down. And although you are smaller, I mean, you're not tiny by any means. Like, you weigh enough, and she has to like shuttle you guys up 2 at a time or so to get up there. Those of you that do not levitate or fly up there. You get up and she introduces in a uppies. Yes, all the upsies. Upsies. She introduces all of you to Tivon and offers to translate as Father will be speaking in our typical language of signaling. I'm happy to translate for you so your conversation does not take time as some of ours tend to do. Our people speak very slowly of important matters, but we understand the customs of outsiders briefly from our time with Haverford, and we wish to accelerate this conversation. So, Tivon looks down to the lot of you. Does the group that slays a Graknork have a name?
Do.
Would you care to share it with an old man who wishes to chronicle the good doings and deeds of others?
We are known in the central areas as the Midnight Parliament.
And so you shall be known here, Midnight Parliament. He attempts to say in broken common. Haverford came before you when I was a young man. My wife remembers him well, and he taught our daughter many things. And now you, members of the Midnight Parliament, stand before me, seeking to undergo Kurodan. Larsan leans in. Kurodan is the ritual by which we travel to Eppen. Our shaman have a very specific ritual we must follow to make it there safely.
All right. This is the port city that you were talking about.
Eppen is a distant place. We had hoped personally to trade with them and send them envoys to ask of these living dead creatures that can turn the living to their side. Quite horrendous and abnormal beasts.
If this is a ritual of some importance for your people that we are not able to participate in, we can find our own way.
I fear there is no way safe that you will find besides our ritual, and you have earned your passage with your deeds. It has been discussed amongst the council that you should visit the burial site of your friend or confidant. We know that the Centralists tend to live shorter lives than we, but should you wish to pay respects in the morning, you may visit Haverford's burial, and we will see you to Kurodan after that. We must ask that you respect the ritual of Kurodan, traveling to Epen. Failing to do so is quite dangerous for each individual involved.
What does the ritual entail of, if I may ask?
Why is it dangerous not to?
The shaman of our people will guide you on your quest, but you will be encased in a safe canoe and sent into the mountain, and we will guide you on your path. You must simply trust in us to guide you, which I understand is a great deal to ask.
Myself, not particularly, no. I do trust you all. You seem remarkable people. Thank you.
Thank you. You have assisted Gufrid not only completing his rights to manhood and becoming a great hunter of our society, but Utekt has been bestowed upon the great honor of Slayer of a Grachnork with your assistance, and you all share that title amongst our people. The Midnight Parliament will always find warm beds here. And he stands up and says something very slowly as his daughter translates. Let it be known the Midnight Parliament is loud beyond the Great Hall, and that they will undergo Kurodan on the morrow.
What's the reaction for the rest of them?
There's a cheering, a smattering of applause. It's something that seemed like it was expected. You guys killed a Grachnork, the greatest apex predator these people know. They really just kind of expected deliberation and then a recording of your names, and that would be it.
But so it doesn't surprise them that we're going on this thing too.
Not in the slightest. It seems like something that they were all anticipatory of and cheered you all on, and they're excited for your journey. He continues on, and Tivlin says, grab your Tiefgrön. The Midnight Parliament seek to end these living dead atrocities that brought back the dead husk of Voltak, our friend and our brother who was slain by them. They will see an end to these things so that they incur our lands no more.
Take out a dagger and just kind of hold it in the air.
There is a lot of cheering and a lot of drinking from everybody in the room. Some 200 or 300 frost giants are in here by this point. The roar is quite deafening as the cheers erupt, and Doran in particular, you feel that welling of primal animalistic pride at the thought of battle against a worthy adversary. And you can sense that among your comrades here, and you realize that a lot of these people share the same tenets of combat and valor as you do. If there's anything else that I can do for you, please, all you must do is ask, but the Feast of Grachnork is almost prepared, and I hope that you enjoy it with us. And we have a special chamber set aside for you. Haverford never really filled out one of our tents, but we had a smaller subsection for one for people like him who deserved a place amongst us that's been empty for some time. It should fit all of you nicely.
We appreciate your hospitality.
Please. We appreciate the great honor you have done our people. He holds up one more glass, and you all feel yourself catching your breath slightly as he raises and says in broken common, "To the Midnight Parliament." Holds up a glass, steps out from his chair and kneels. And you look back, and the entire hall is kneeling to you. And even Yalvist, mother of Larsen, bows deeply from her chair And they wait for you all to raise your glasses. And as you do, a great cheer erupts from the Great Hall. Everyone drinks deep, and the Graknork begins to be carved up, a great roast creature that you helped slay in the name of pride and honor and gaining admission to this wonderful peoples. And you all enjoy a great feast. Is there anything else anyone would like to complete, or questions they would like to ask of the Frost Giants tonight while you're there?
Just thanking them for their hospitality.
Anyone you find yourself thanking for hospitality, any of the people that help to serve you, any of the people who help to get you what you need or ask questions of, and you think of their hospitality, they return threefold, triplet, quadruplet with honor for having you here. It's impressed upon you constantly over the night that this is a rare event in their people's time and a rare event in their history, and few will live to see this happen more than once. Tilvon happens to be one of the few shamans who's witnessed this 3 times, and you note after talking to him, he seems much older than Yalvist. He seems to be on in his years quite some time. And it's expressed to you that this is a rare occurrence to happen in Triplicate, and it means good omens and great prophecies for them to come. And it means years of bountiful harvest and joys for the society. So they are endlessly ecstatic for the things for just the fact that you're here.
If possible, and I know the kind of complication of size differences, but if there's like a position of service that I could adopt throughout the evening, I would try to do that. Whether it's like bringing cups to people or something, I don't know. They all have like massive plates and shit like that, so I don't know if it's even possible.
You have prestidigitation, so I will say you spot times at which to make small marks to help warm cups as they start to get a little stale and cold from sitting on the table too long. Someone drinks it and they're like, and you find little moments to help that. And throughout the evening, as you do that, people are endlessly appreciative, to a point of where one of the older gentlemen, as he like reaches for his cup and it's cold again, and he kind of sighs at it, you do this to him, and he just beams at you with tears in his eyes and bows deeply and drinks just as deeply. Anything for anyone else for the evening with the Frost Giants in their home?
A tender moment.
You all are eventually brought to a tent, one of their homes that seems to have been abandoned, but it's kind of kept aside for visitors or something like that. It seems like it's just got the bare essentials, and then there's a small portion of that that's sectioned off again internally. You see a place for a fire, and there's a lot of animal skins of smaller animals, polar bears, seals, things that they found, and they usually had to stitch into larger garments, but they left about 20 of them aside here, cleaned up and stitched properly to be blankets, to be sleeping pads. And you guys find yourselves in a small, warm domicile according to people your side. And then on this little nightstand there's a stack of animal furs in one corner. There's a fire pit. There's a couple stools, but there's a little nightstand that someone carved out, and there's a note tacked to the top of it, and it's written in common. If you have found this place, if you have been brought to this place, you are truly blessed. I lived my final days here, honored among the people of Kolvig Student. Cherish this. Signed, Haverford Lindholm. So, would you all like to turn in for the night? Everybody gets a long rest. Besides, Max, you got a question? Go ahead.
Yes. I want to talk to Botrin.
Okay. You can talk to Botrin all you want.
As, getting ready to go to sleep, Max is gonna slip over to them and go, "Hey, Botrin. I have a thought. And it's possibly very stupid, which is why I'm going to you. Take that as you will. So I tried to contact Brundoinum once, right after the Battle of Busat.
Mm-hmm.
It went very poorly. Have you tried contacting her?
I have not.
Do you want to try?
I think it would be very interesting to try.
You're the more the spiritualistic amongst us. I mean, I've been able to communicate with her before, but I think that's just because I'm fairly efficient at communicating, so...
Well, I could try to commune with my patron, because if Brundoinum has been taken away or is lost, she might have some information. Let me walk the dreaming tonight and see what I can find out.
Cool. Good luck. Do you need help? Can I, do that with you? Is it good to have backup in that?
I guess you could watch over me. I mean, Spackle will sit with you, and I'll do the walk and see what I can find out.
Okay. Should I, wake you up if you look like you're having a bad time, or...
I will do my utmost not to incur the nightmare. We don't want to have a repeat performance of battling something here in the middle of the Frost Giants village, so...
No. Right.
If you have specific questions you want me to ask of my patron, you can write them down and I'll carry them with me.
Oh. Okay. Max will rip out a page and just, write down, first, how's it going? And then, what's up with Brundoinum? Can you tell us that? Can you help us with that? Is she okay? And I guess, is Imana affecting Brundoinum's sleep? I'll ask those questions.
Okay. Then I will settle into my meditative pose and
Sweet dreams.
enter into the dreaming.
Okay.
The rest of the party overhear that?
Nope. Maximilian Botrin conversation. Botrin, you settle into the dreaming and you find yourself sitting on that misty blanket that covers Cyorion and find yourself looking at that edge again, glancing into the distance, that empty space. You see the nebula of yellows and greens, the strange purple reflections and white sparkling of those stars in the distance, just that vast nothingness that beyond the twilight. You glance over your shoulder one direction, and you see Caritas in the distance, making her way towards you. You look back and observe that nothingness for a moment, and then feel her presence suddenly behind you, walking those thousands of miles in brief steps. And she looks to you
I-
lovingly, waiting for your questions.
Dream Mother, it is a privilege to once again stand in your presence. I come to you with some troubling questions.
Ask, Shepherd.
Before you, I spent a great deal of years amongst the company of the Dragon of Time from Doina. And when I became a part of the Midnight Parliament, a prophecy was given to us. And that prophecy has been revealed to be a curse. And it has been revealed to us that Brundoinum is lost. And so I come to you now, seeking your guidance, seeking your knowledge of anything you might be able to impart to me about Brundoinum and where she might be, or whether or not that is of any of your concern at all.
I
And
need you to roll an emphasis check while you do your thing. So 2d20s. Just go ahead and roll 2d20s. You hand the note from Maximiel off.
I do, yes.
You find that this is the first time you've truly carried something into. Good lord, no.
A 1 and a 19.
An 18 and a 1. Oh my goodness.
Damn it.
That's
A
awesome.
19.
So you hand the note, and you find that this is the first time you physically hand something to Caritas. And you realize that you can bring an outside influence to the dream. You walk it in. You are the gateway, Shepherd. You bring things to her. And when you present that to her, she says something that you do remember. And it radiates in your mind. Brundoinhem does not dream. The Keeper of Time is much more concerned with other matters. But we can seek her amongst the dreamers. And because of your emphasis roll of a 1, you remember it like fragments of a dream when you wake up in the morning. Moments lost to the back of your mind as you grasp for those bits of information from that sweet dream. And you recall descent going through the surface of Cyorion. You remember a vast dark emptiness, and you remember crystalline caverns, and you recall Kasoba from a bird's eye view, and searching and glances of Brundoinhem as she looks to you, but nothing of note. The fragments are lost as you awake from this long and endless dream. What feels to you that time dilation of sleep, like days lost to the ether as you wake up grasping at what you knew. But it all drifts to the back of your mind in this place.
It makes me wonder if my long rest is not really a long rest.
It is. Your body is resting.
Yeah.
Your soul or body or mind or whatever it is that Batran has travels elsewhere, and you are just simply learning to walk amongst that lucid dream and collect information. But today it was too much and you failed to collect it. You remember fragments of the dream as you awake.
Fading like smoke.
And as the rest of you awake, you see Batran a little perturbed, but everybody may take a long rest if you have not taken a long rest already. And you're guided early in the next morning, after sharing that information, Batran.
Yes, I mean, I find time to share a look with Maximiel and just sort of shake my head negatively, and and convey to her that I will continue to try.
All right.
You find yourself, though, greeted fairly early in the morning rich oatmeals, hearty breakfast, something that sticks to the bone is brought to you. Grainy and milky is brought to you, warm, that is asking for you to just consume and be ready for the great nothingness ahead of you. What
Taking
this
a cue from Max, I'm gonna press to digitate my oatmeal to taste like fruit too.
you get your oatmeal to taste really good. It's actually, for those of you that don't press the digitation, it still tastes kind of earthy, but pretty good. Nonetheless, it's hearty, it's warm, it gets you right down to your belly and feels very good. And you're all brought very first thing in the morning to Haverford Lindholm's grave. A very small grave that has some frost giant runes on it, but written in common. He earned our respect. He lived among us. He died an envoy to his people. Haverford Lindholm. And the date is some 25 years ago. He would have probably been in his 70s or 80s when he passed.
I always forget how short a human life can be.
Long for us.
Soren, you feel a bit of an urge. The wooden stake that sits there invites something to join it.
The tusk?
Kind of look over to kind of just everybody, because I don't think there's one person among us who is skilled in this matter, but pull out the little tusk necklace. I took this because I think that he is owed a second shot at life. If it's possible, somewhere back home, someone who is capable, someone who is abundantly wealthy and gifted or connected. Do you think they would prefer to be here? Them?
I think, Soren, that sometimes the story just has to end.
They've been at rest for quite some time. Let's leave it that way.
I'll take it and place it over a little wooden stake. Just kind of make sure that it sits perfectly in the center and off or anything like that.
A sense of peace washes over the lot of you. You feel connected to Haverford and Tusk in this moment, that their journey had purpose. They may not have seen it to the end in their own ways, but it meant something for the greater good. And with that milestone, you will all level up to 12 before continuing your journey. Thanks, Short Twin, for continuing or following. Thanks everybody who's following too. We want to get up to 100 followers. We appreciate that extra follow.
So close.
Ding!
Ding! We're getting there. Ding, level up. What a perfect timing. And thanks, Short Twin, for subbing. For those of you that don't know, Short Twin is the player behind Mr. Pebbles, our Gepetan warlock on Sunday.
Nice.
He is our little penguin warlock who had his daughter's art made by Sam. So thanks for jumping in, Short Twin. We love you so much. But you're all brought, after your moment with Haverford and Tusk, to the mouth of this cave that extends into the mountainside and deep into these dark tunnels, and you can see just this massively clear glacial lake in front of you, crystal clear. And you see now totems carved along the perimeter of the lake, and looking at it, those of you that have magic capability, just studying for a moment, see bits of runes for shape water carved into the side of it. This lake is not natural. These people have created this as some sort of passage. They have found some method with these canoes that extend to these river systems that connect them under the glacier, moving rapidly between this place. And you can see that the shaman tend to this frequently. There's groups of them along the shore working the water and preparing for the day, and you can see them working and chanting in unison as they create some sort of ritual form of create and shape water, and they begin to create currents within the glacial lake as one of the canoes is being loaded. And Larson meets you all at the edge of the canoe. I hope you had good time with Haverford and his friend Tusk today. It was important that you see such a solemn place and know that he is buried amongst our ancestors. He has earned his place with us. The glacier, though, will continue to move and one day take him away from this place. It is good. They told me that you joined his friend Tusk with him, that he makes this final journey with him. As the glacier carries them past our small piece, Ovig student, it will carry them into eternity together. So thank you for this great honor. But I warn you, undergoing Kurodan is quite an ordeal. I have not done it myself, but I know that it twists the minds of those that undergo it. It adds concern and anxiety to their lives, and I hope that you know that this is a safe journey, that our shaman will be looking after you.
But how long is the journey?
The journey will last for quite some time, but when Kurodan ends, you will not recall the journey.
All right. More than an hour, less than an hour.
Much longer than anticipated, but you will have no memory of it taking that long.
Got it.
You see them loading a canoe with supplies, prepping it, and it's a covered canoe. There's an A-frame with it with these great skins of animals laid along the sides that are rolled up with ropes hanging down, and there's a great bonfire in the middle to keep warm as they're prepping supplies at the fore and aft of the ship. They plan to leave early this morning. I know we've had very little time together, but you always have an honored place amongst us here at Kolvik Student. You, please, if you find yourselves here again, stay with us. We will help protect you and guide you. Oh, does anybody have any more questions before loading in?
I'll think of things later, I'm sure, but...
You solemnly load into this canoe. The frost giants that are on there guide you to the edges. They offer up small straps of sinew to you, and you realize that there are hooks behind you that you could tie them off to and kind of like strap yourself in for the journey.
Oh, they have seatbelts.
And finally, you see a slightly hungover Vutekt boarding the ship.
Okay.
You took good care of my son. I apologize. I had many things to drink, but I will see you through to Eppen.
Just realized I had to fix my mixer. Otherwise, you guys were accidentally at Galaxolin because we had the power outage. Because everything reset. And I was like, oh no, they almost had Galaxolin for Giant. But now
We can have actual giant voices again.
that would have been
Thank
really
you,
creepy.
Vutekt.
That would have been really creepy for like everything to go down. And then suddenly Galaxolin's voice comes back and y'all are like, what the fuck?
Hello again.
I'm back, bitches.
It's him! Shoot it!
I apologize. So sorry, that was just a bit moment for me.
Thank you, Vutekt. I appreciate your wisdom and guidance in this whole endeavor.
Wisdom I have little, but I'm a tradesman and a hunter. I will take this voyage with you.
All right.
You guys strap in? Anybody not strapping in? You kind of
Yeah,
use your straps to get hooked in,
my point.
and within an hour, the ship kind of starts to catch this current. There's no sails on this vessel, and it begins to travel into this dark cavern in front of you, and you look out from the canopy, and you see in front of you darkness. Those of it that can see sheer rock wall in the darkness and ice forming along the sides, and eventually a clear-cut tunnel as you look around behind you, and the tunnel fades into the distance. And as you rapidly begin to pick up speed, the bonfire is lit, and the animal skin canopy around you is dropped, and you become kind of enclosed in this space, warmed by the fire, secure as you feel yourself moving rapidly along the current, and eventually begins to settle in. There's something in that fire. It's smokier than a normal fire, and you've been breathing it for half an hour, and time distillates around you, and you start to begin to feel yourself lost to the world around you. As an aside, if anybody's had surgery of any kind where they put you under with like doses of Valium, you start to capture and remember glimpses of the reality that's happening around you. Thanks, Michaela, for the follow. Doran, you awake briefly and have a moment of clarity as you realize, how long have I been traveling? I've been moving for some time. You look around and your friends are in various states of disconnection. The giants that are on the ship with you are strapped in similarly on the other side, some at the fore, some beside you, and some at the aft as you nod off. And even Jaeger is completely unconscious. You look around, Doran, and you see this flaps next to you, one of them kind of in the wind. And you realize you're moving rapidly. What do you do?
I am just going to trust in the process and just hang on. I'm strapped in. I'm gonna enjoy the ride.
You succumb to whatever herbs and drugs are in the bonfire, and you breathe deep and let yourself fall back into the sleep. Jaeger, the paranoia sets in. You're not in control. Something's wrong. You don't have control of this. Something's strapped you down and is holding you, and you awake in a panic, your heart racing. You have one combat turn. What do you do?
Oh.
Don't do
I
it. Don't
need
do
a
it. Don't do
moment
it.
to
Don't do
think.
it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
You take a moment to think, and time stops around you. Everybody near you is unconscious in some form or another. The fire stops. It's burning with the flames flickering. There's a bit of flap that's loose between you and Doran.
I'll reach for it. I'm not restrained.
You have the straps that you now remember you placed across your own chest to hold you in, but your hand can reach, and you press the piece of flap aside. Then you see a chute. Out of character, you would think of a toboggan sled. You are no longer sliding on water. You see carvings of ice as this canoe on its two long beams slides violently against this ice chute through the world. Your moment to think ends. You have a bonus action and a move action left.
still restrained?
Still restrained around the chest. You put it there. You look down at it and you remember, I put this here to stay safe like everybody else did. And it clicks to you that maybe you're staying safe because the only way the giants make it through this is to trust the process.
I mean, I can't really move, and I could do one thing with a bonus action, but on myself, everyone else is sleeping. I guess I'm gonna trust the process.
You breathe deep and lull back into a sleep. One more person. Who's it gonna be? Soren.
Shit.
You, in a calm moment, there's no speed around you, but you look
Feel the movement.
to the front of the vessel and you see the shaman has opened the curtains, the large flaps. The fire is being restoked by other people that are boarding the ship, and you see a giant village in a dark cave, small, 20 individuals, and a calm, serene lake. You've traveled to somewhere and you feel lighter. This is not the drug. You weigh less in this place.
Okay.
You feel nimble and you feel agile and you feel light in a way that you can expand. You could shoot off the edges of this room and dance from side to side, performing acrobatics no one could dream of. Disconnected from gravity in this place.
Am I still restrained?
You're still restrained. And as you kind of move a little bit, you see that your friends are bobbing slightly, as well as the giants. Some gravity exists here, but a minor amount. Very small amount.
You said there's a shaman that I could see?
He's performing some ritual. And I
Is
need
there
an
one that
arcana
isn't?
check at disadvantage.
Ah, shit. All right.
Because
Is there
you
one
are
that
still
isn't?
stoned. Yay, a 1.
No.
Is there one that isn't performing a ritual? Just one that's like standing around or guarding the boat or anything?
Helping to load the herbs onto the fire. They're
Okay.
reigniting a lowly lit flame at this point. The roaring fire that kept you warm as you came into this place has died down to coals, and they are reigniting it with new herbs.
Okay. I'm going to cast Sending to that one. Just very sleepy. Are we there yet? Do you need help with the fire? I can make fire.
He walks up to you, and you remember the signs. For sleep. Waiting. Soon.
I'll just kind of hold until I see them getting the fire going and wait for that to take me when it does, I guess.
The fire takes you, but not before the current picks back up and you feel the rush of water behind you and gravity begin to pull you steeply back down.
Down.
Down. After an indeterminate amount of time, you all start to slowly wake up. You feel this strange sliding effect as while you breathe in fresh, cool air, a little biting, a little cold, you look and you see that the flaps near the front are starting to bring air in and the fire is down to near coals. Soren, you see it near coals for the second time. As you
Do I
enter,
have a sense of passage of time?
you think for a moment, you realize how large they were building that fire and how large they built the first fire. With your insight, let's see here, let's look at a couple in the botch room. With your investigation skill, Soren with your insight, Jaeger with your perception, all of those above 20. You all think for a moment and at minimum 6 to 12 hours has passed.
Jesus.
Get the international flight. All right.
As this large canoe passes under, you hear the roaring of water against the canopy above you. It sounds as if, out of character, you're driving a car through an automatic car wash, and that last rinse cycle is just pushing above you, and you can hear and feel that cold stinging of the mist as some sort of waterfall passes above you. You look forward, and they reach out to one shaman that's unhooked to pull the canopy back. And I'm going to need everybody's undivided attention. A quote from Cormac McCarthy from Blood Meridian, or the Evening Redness in the West. Whatever in creation exists without my knowledge exists without my consent. Throughout history, victors pen the pages that inform those that follow. The defeated whisper stories in the dark to keep their causes alive. The gods stare silently, witnessing the unraveling conflicts. Unlike those of us writing new legends to be passed on, they remember. They remember what you do not see, but will be soon taught to all. Should you, the Midnight Parliament, succeed in your travels, these things will soon be known. Tawalid, the Lord of the Void, would claim that he was alone in the beginning, but Felak, God of Time, witnessed Tawalid's unmaking. The great emptiness of Tawalid's empire was disrupted by but a thought. He considered what another would be like, and in that errant moment, that a wisp of an idea, Sahayi, the goddess of creation, came to be. From the disagreement between creation and void, others arose, taking from the blissful nothing that Tawalid ruled over. In the end, the council was 7. Life, death, creation, void, time, light, and dark. From Tawalid, the first of the Kazakh were born, minor gods created to serve the council members. The Kazakh of rage and anger, known as Ru, stoked Tawalid's fury at the unmaking of his vast nothingness. The unintentional creation of the gods of the council had taken much from him. Thankfully, their activities did not take from him further, so Tawalid rested and let his anger fester. The other council members created Kazakh of their own, building and exploring the great plains of existence. In turn, the Kazakh would create Ono, demigods charged with minor tasks at the cosmic scale. One of these Ono would drastically change the course of the multiverse. Tired from eons of exploration, creation, destruction, life, and death, Sahayi and Venetus, gods of creation and life, spoke to the Kazakh Hugh, Lord of Joy, and they considered a being of pure creativity. The council members could rest if an Ono of creativity was set to the task of creating something wondrous for them. The Ono Ulig was born and instructed to create something for the gods. Ulig set out to the multiverse and found a wandering star with a large temperate planet nearby. Sahayi and Venetus had touched this world already, as it teemed with plants and animals. Ulig considered what would impress the gods. Rather than animals, what if creatures like them? What if Ulig instilled the spark within them to dream, think, and create? Ulig pulled from the will of the universe and from within themselves and breathed the spark into the planet. A race of tall, green and blue, slender bipedal beings rose up. They called themselves the Farallin. Over millennia, they continued to create. They created cities, magic, great technologies, but also war, destruction, and terrible tools of death. They created vessels and explored their world. Eventually, they unified and created spacefaring vessels and began to explore the great universe. Ulig continued to watch, pleased with their creativity. However, the spark had touched something. that had not been disturbed for eons. The Yasmi Empire, or the Plane of Void. A universe hidden beyond a singularity, within a black hole, an expanse of the great nothingness itself. From this place, Tawalid stirred. As he did in the beginning, he sensed new creations, different from the various plants and animals that the council scattered to the multiverse. Something had created a power within the universe that was new, and in doing so had taken from the void. Tawalid searched the multiverse and eventually found a pitiful Ono, fawning over a planet in a distant corner of the multiverse. And there he saw souls, existence beyond what creation and life had touched before, each soul born rending a very part of the fabric of the void, whittling away at the Yasmi Empire. The Kazakh stoked the fury, inciting the rage of Tawalid. Tawalid enlisted other Kazakh and Ono from the Yasmi Empire and began a crusade against the Farallon, erasing them from the very existence as they marched across the multiverse. The Farallons scattered were nothing against the might of the void. The council, now aware of Tawalid's transgressions, moved to intercept him, but they were too late. They came to the planet, the home of the Farallon, a place they called Eterna. Tawalid took one of his generals, compressed her into a pure destructive mode of void energy, and sent her through Eterna, sundering the great planet. Purple hellfire tore across the world, shattering it and destroying life. A great cosmic battle ensued, and Tawalid finally was banished to the Yasmi Empire, cast out from the council. The Ono Ulig wept at the sight of their experiment in creativity, the souls whirling and lost to the voids seeking their hosts. The council considered a solution to keep Tawalid's vengeance from returning. They took the broken world, created the great cycle as to not tear more from the void, locking the souls into a cycle of rebirth, a place on the world under their protection, anchored to Sahagi and her plane of existence, the great palace on the sun. In the canoe, strange lights begin to fill your space as the canopy is removed. A shimmering ethereal purple hue dances across the leather and wooden structure as you look above to find the source of light, and you see it far in the heavens. An alien purple and black star, suspended between colossal fragments of rock. This place has been described to you before. As the canopy is fully removed, misty daggers of the frozen mist stings from the waterfall behind you. You follow the great waterfall up, impossibly high. It seems to stretch to the very stars themselves. Far above you, hanging over your head, massive, sparkling ice walls. Holderima, glittering purple and silver in this strange new sunlight. Voltect grunts from in front of you.
We hear this weapon.
Gazing to where he's pointing, you see yourselves tied off now at a floating city, much too small to belong to giants. Your eyes adjust and you see a Farallon conversing with one of the giants in common, pointing at you. As he approaches, he speaks to you fluently. Newcomers, welcome. I'm certain this is a lot to adjust to, but I am Tarij. Welcome to Eppin. And I guess by that extent, welcome to Eterna. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Nice.
Woohoo!
We broke Sarah.
Oh, Josh, I hope you're posting all the art. I can't
It's
see you
there.
right now. I had to just shut my mouth and start looking because I couldn't pay attention. But
Hey, new follow. Thanks.
thanks for the follow. We appreciate you coming in, Glaneford. Thanks for coming in. And welcome to Eterna, members of the Midnight Parliament. I'm sure you have so many questions that we'll get to next time.
Level up.
Level up, everybody.
Level up.
Congratulations. Yeah. This is 4 years in the making for this big reveal. Sam, thank you so much for all this artwork. We had another artist that I worked with on Fiverr to create the planetary scenes. The new artwork and the new map of Eterna will be posted so everybody can see it, but we love you all.
Sick.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun. Sarah still hasn't said anything. I don't know how we're taking this. Sarah's just like trying to figure it all out.
Oh yes, Sarah's thinking. That was amazing. Artwork is amazing. I'm back to the thinking.
So thanks everybody. We'll post also, I'll post a copy of the map that I have that's unmarked so you guys can see the map and all of its beauty. The side pieces that you'll see on the map are the actual massive floating rocks that exist next to the Dark Star of Eterna. But yeah, I will put that up and reveal it one more time. Cyorion is in fact a half a planet that has had the backside blasted off through a cosmic war, and on that backside exists Eterna. So please enjoy that. Jump in the Discord and enjoy all the little bits as these guys find it out. But yeah, that's it. That's the last big reveal. I feel slightly underwhelmed that it's over now. I don't know what to do with myself.
Nice.
All right. Thanks
They
everybody for
lied.
joining us.
They
Thanks
lied to
everybody.
us. There is
So
something.
it's
There is
bullshit.
something on the other side.
It is bowl shaped. Yes, actually, Cyorion is bowl shaped, and I sat with
Cyorion
Nate.
is a bowl.
I sat with Nate and worked out all of the details on how, like, that water, like Josh and I figured out how the water works, how like it cycles back into Cyorion. Nate and I sat there and workshopped the travel for the frost giants. Basically, you guys had to get stoned and then slide on a luge through the entire ice cap and pop out on the other side and drift down the side of this glacier into Cyorion, into Eterna. But yeah, crazy
I can't wait
stuff.
for people to see the map.
The map is
So nuts.
map is fantastic. Looking forward to that. And shout out to Kate if she's watching. Eppin is Pippin. It's our place for her dog in the world. Pippin's name is the initial port of when you come into Cyorion. Yeah, Cyorion's no longer hollow earth. Cyorion's no longer flat. Cyorion has been bowl shaped this entire time, but I've had to keep my mouth shut.
It's a bowl.
Sarah guessed it in session 7.
I love it.
You guessed bowl shaped?
I guessed that the second half of Cyorion was destroyed in session 7.
Do you want to know what the worst part
A
is?
note taker.
You want to know what the worst part is? I'll tell you this now because it's so far behind us. In the temple of the Almafea, where you guys went into that temple, and there was the solarium, and there was all the rock.
It was destroyed.
If you had lit it properly with the sunlight, it would have re-levitated, and you would have seen Cyorion in its true shape all the way back in like episode 4.
Son of a bitch.
It was session 7. Then it was.
It's been waiting for you.
Yep.
This is the reaction I wanted. This is so much what I wanted. I love it.
Our solarium with a mirror. Yep.
Sarah's so
We
mad.
did reflect the sun at the half sphere. I remember that.
Yeah, but
not
there was
quite.
there was other
We didn't
stuff.
do it right.
There was other stuff blocking it at the top of it. You had to clear out the rest of the solarium because it was overgrown.
Secret puzzles.
Well done,
Secret puzzles.
Well done.
Okay, let's let you
Ben,
guys get
this
up.
just has me thinking about the next campaign, and
Sometime in the
how this
last
is
like
gonna-
6 sessions, I have dropped like 3 seeds to the next campaign. So yeah, be ready for that. This is stuff that'll continue to haunt you
Yeah.
for years. Congratulations, welcome to playing with me. All right, let's let David get out of here to take care of his cats. So thanks
Yeah.
everybody.
Yep.
Love you all. Thanks for
session.
being
Bye,
around. Bye, stream.